So yeah, before we continue, I kind of just want to take a minute to talk about how important it is, at least to me, to have someone to look up to, who also has a disability. Um, Having a disability, it pretty much means like struggling just to have independence and do what you want. Like, yeah, you can have a personality, you can have, like, you can be you, but you really do lose your independence through the struggle of having a disability. And really having people who understand what you're going through, um, it's not always a given. It's not always a given, and I've learned that the hard way over the years. There are many out there who will not understand even after explaining everything you've gone through to them. I've experienced this for years, years and years. Some people, they're amazing, and they love you for who you are, and they're supportive. I have plenty of people like that in my life. But many will not accept or understand you. It took me years to find my people, and find people who love and support me despite my illness, and the difficulties and all the crap that comes with it. Oh, Crohn's disease, I feel for you, Crash. I feel for you, buddy. Um, Defunctland. But yeah, like, I just always think, I always remember how I was treated and how I always think back on how I was treated and how life differed for me before I became ill. I became ill around the time I was like 14 years old, right? I became ill around middle school. And I used to be super athletic. I used to be on the track team. I used to play tennis, all that crap. And within a matter of weeks, it was all taken from me. All just taken from me. My life was thrown upside down. I was scared. I thought I was like dying. There was something seriously wrong with me. It was rough. I thought I had like cancer or something super serious with how drastically things shifted. And you know what the most infuriating thing is when people don't get it and people don't want to get it, right? There were teachers throughout middle and high school who called me lazy. They didn't believe me when I started getting sick. They thought I wanted to ditch class or get out of class. They didn't actually think there was anything wrong with me. And I remember my mom would have to physically go into the classroom and talk to these teachers and be like, hey, I'm the one taking my kid out of school. She's sick. When we leave school, I take her to the doctor, bro. Like, she's not ditching. I'm well aware. And like, even then, like, they just kind of swallowed their words and were like, okay, whatever. Like, they still didn't show me the compassion I deserved back then as a confused kid that just wanted to feel normal, right? So yeah, there's not a lot of awareness and support and love, and I think the world would be a much better place if there was more love and understanding. And a lot of people just don't want to give that, right? But even the doctors treated me like that. Doctors told me to just take vitamins or an exercise when I was like so athletic back then. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? And I would say, hey, can you like run some tests and just try and figure out what's wrong with me? Pretty please. Just to confirm what's going on. But they wouldn't listen, and they were more concerned with like my acne, because I had really, really bad cystic acne. I came in yeah, Monty, welcome, Monty. I'm just talking about something real quick before I move on, because I'm just talking about like the Ironmouse Cafe and like why Ironmouse is important to me personally. But yeah, no, it sucked. These teachers didn't take me seriously, and if they took me seriously sooner, I would have had a diagnosis sooner. And it's sad that these people in medical positions and these people you pay a ton of money to go visit don't care and don't want to care and don't take you seriously. They're more worried about whether or not I was on birth control, or because I was like a teenager, teenage girl, which back then I thought I was asexual. Like, none of that, I didn't even think about that shit. I just wanted to feel better, man. And I had cystic acne. They were more concerned about the cystic acne. But yeah, even like girls at school, they made rumors up about me. Said that I had an ED because I was just losing so much weight from the stress and just being ill. And you know what the teachers did take seriously? They took that shit seriously. The teachers and the school faculty, they didn't take my illness seriously, but they sure as heck took that seriously. I guess because it was some kind of buzzword, even though like I ate and like that was not the issue. But yeah, Even beyond that, I had family that didn't support me. Having a support system, again, is not a given, guys. It's not a given. I remember I had an aunt who believes things basically should be done and not done by a certain age. She was very strict, very cold. Like you got to get your driver's license by 16. You got to be out of college by 22. You got to be married by 30 or you're a failure at life. Like just crap like that. Just crap like that. She once scolded me for 2 hours because I bleached my hair at 17 years old and that looked quote unquote trashy to her. She was just very cold. A wise man once said, wait, Grand Tactician. A wise man once said, if a lot of people love each other, the world would be a much better place to live. Absolutely. I'll read your guys' stuff in a second. I just want to get this out. But yeah, she was not a nice person. I remember they were teaching me how to drive, and I was learning how to drive a car. And by that point, I think I was 17. I was like 17 years old, and that was already late to her. And I was so dizzy, and I was so scared of wrecking one of their cars because I did not feel good. And I had really bad POTS still that was undiagnosed because nobody took me seriously. I didn't even know it was POTS by that point yet. I wasn't diagnosed till I was like 18, 19. And I said, hey, I don't really feel good. I'm shaking. I'm really dizzy. My vision's blacking out. I have tunnel vision. I was super honest, like, hey, I really don't feel well. And she got so mad at me, and she's like, you know what? I think that's a cop-out, and I think you're lazy. And I was like, well, okay, thanks. Thanks. Then there was another time, and I'll never forget it. We were at Disneyland, and I felt really, really, really sick. Like, I was about to faint then and there. I felt very ill. I was still undiagnosed. I was about the same age. And, we were about to go on a ride, and I told everyone, hey, I'll just wait here by the gift shop. You guys go ahead. I'm just gonna sit down. And I remember my aunt was like, no, I'll stay with her. I'll stay with her. And I thought for a split second, I was like, she's gonna be compassionate for the first time ever, right? She's gonna be like understanding and like actually acknowledge that there's something wrong, right? No, she sat down and she said, you know, you're being a tremendous inconvenience to everyone right now. And you're just pulling all this dramatic and all these theatrics, and you're being an actress. She just kept saying, I'm being an actress and trying to get attention. And if I didn't stop, like, I'm gonna ruin the day for everyone. Even though, like, I let them go ahead and go on the ride. I was trying to, like, not, deter things. But she's like, oh, you are such a burden. You better stop making this shit up. She didn't curse. She was very, like, very above you. That was her kind of attitude. Like, you gotta stop, you're being such an inconvenience. And then, like, they came back after the ride, and she's like, okay, I'm glad we had this talk, you need to behave, like, me being sick, I needed to behave, okay? And she always was just so judgmental. It was a whole thing. But ever since that day, I always felt like, okay, I guess I really am a big burden. Like, I didn't realize I was causing so much dismay for everyone around me. Like, I just assumed everyone thought that because I was young. I was just looking for people to talk to about this, some kind of support system, right? Like I said, it's not a given to have that support system. Some people are lucky to have that. But yeah, we don't talk anymore. We haven't talked in years. She fails to understand why. She doesn't believe there's anything wrong with me, even though I have a diagnosis, and I have had a diagnosis for many years, been to many specialist doctors. And she categorizes me as some kind of failure that's not really worth her time now. And that's really about it. And I just stopped bothering. I just stopped bothering with her. She's just not worth my time, not worth my energy, not worth being in my life. And yeah, now I'm like good riddance, but back then when I was younger and very desperate, just to have someone to connect to and talk to and just someone to understand, that really, really hurt. Oh, Ribs04, thank you for the follow, friend. Thank you so much. We're dancing in your honor. But yeah, I was like, good riddance, but I just wanted somebody to get it, right? And like my friends in school, they didn't get it. They didn't understand what was going on. They were all getting ready to start college. They all were like having their first, like going to prom, having their like first relationships and just busy with their life, right? But yeah, there was once a time before all this crap, before I got sick, where I felt like the sky was the limit. I was super, super excited about my future. And one day I just didn't have that. It just went away, right? It just no clipped, right? And I was so excited to like experience the things all my friends were experiencing. But one day I just didn't have that independence, and I didn't have that freedom, because I was too sick to even get out of bed by that point. Too sick to even like sit up in bed a lot of the time. And that made me feel even worse and even more worthless. And like, when you can't take care of yourself, your independence and identity feels like a luxury. It feels like something you don't get as a default. It's not a given. And you're at the mercy of the people kind enough to be your caregiver. Like, I'm lucky enough to have people in my life who care for me and want the best for me, right? At least now I definitely do. And like, I had my mother back then, of course, too, and my grandmother. And, you know, even though you have that, you still feel like more and more of a burden as time goes on because you can't do anything for yourself. And it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. The isolation that brings is genuinely so awful. Oh, thank you so much, Crash Override. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Where was I, though? I'll get to your guys' comments in a moment. Team Chronic Illness, absolutely. But yeah, just the more you ask people for help, the more you just feel like a burden because you just want to do it yourself. You just want to do it yourself, and you hear all throughout your life that you're lazy or you're a burden. You waste people's time. You're a waste of space, and that sits at the back of your mind. It messes with you, right? Yeah, isolation is absolutely the worst, Moosh. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like, the more people ask you if you can drive yourself somewhere, like, hey, can you drive here? Can you meet me here? But like, you don't feel good that day, and especially with POTS, like, there's some days where you absolutely should not drive. You are a risk to others, and unfortunately that is an issue a lot of the time. For me, like, I can drive, but there's a lot of the time where I just do not think I can because my health, because I get dizzy, because I'm at risk of fainting or blacking out, and I just shouldn't, and I cannot. But the more people ask you, hey, can't you drive? Like it's just like, it's you get embarrassed, you get ashamed. The more people have to change their own plans just to help you or reschedule their own plans because you can't make it to something. The more people get fed up with something that you can't do or help out with and just give up on you. Like I said, like with my family, like with people I thought were my family, like they're not in my life anymore. Again, these people, myself, people with chronic illnesses that deal with this, they didn't do anything wrong. If you're dealing with the same thing, you didn't do anything wrong. And you deserve love and compassion, and you deserve support. And I, at that point in time, just didn't see an end in sight. Because independence, to go and do what you want truly, it requires good health. Yeah, the amount of friends and family you lose just for asking for help. I lost so many friends after high school. They just left. They're like that guy that like pieced out and faded out, that meme. That was all of them. It was all of them, man. There was a time in my life where I legitimately realized I have no friends. I have no friends. And that hurt. That hurt a lot. And yeah, without your health, you do not have anything, really. And you don't have the freedom or independence most have. And I always kind of describe it like this, to those who don't really understand. Imagine you're in a cross-country race, like Steel Ball Run or some shit, right? Everyone has a car. Doesn't matter what kind of car, it's just a car that works, right? But you gotta walk. But sometimes you have good days where you get a bike, and that's when things are good. But no matter what you have, no matter what, if it's just you on your own, and you're not like, just you trying to get by, you're always behind. Life feels like a race, and you feel like you're always behind. You feel like, I've said this, I feel like this sometimes, and I try not to think about this much anymore, but sometimes you feel like you're a defective model, like you're a defective, like, something manufactured that was defective while everyone else got the model that, worked properly. Just like an outlier. Like, what do I contribute, right? But it's even worse when the people you thought, like what people were saying in the chat. Like Crash Override. It's even worse when people you thought were friends or trusted family members don't stick around or care. They don't care. I got sick when everyone was graduating, like I said, and starting their lives. Everyone went on and lived their life, started families. Like a lot of people are now starting families and having kids, starting their own lives, starting their own families. And just, doing stuff. Everyone went and did that and, finished doing what they had to do after high school. And I was just left behind, right? People I thought were friends never thought to check in on me. Never wondered if I was okay when I thought about them and asked if they were okay all the time. They never tried to include me in their plans. They never went out of their way to see me. I couldn't make it. I couldn't physically make it because I was sick, and that was an inconvenience to them, so they dipped, right? But those are the bad people. Now, those are the people not worth your time, not worth your energy. You got to surround yourself with people that are good influences, people who understand you and want to work with you. And even if they don't understand it, but they want to understand, right? And they want to help you, and they want to learn, and they want to be there for you. That's the difference. They don't need to know everything. They don't need to know what to do or how to do it, as long as that compassion is there and that want to help you and to understand you is there. That's all that matters. That's all. And a lot of people just don't even have that. They don't even have that. But like that shit, having shitty friends and shitty toxic family, that sucks the fucking hope out of you. Like that destroys your self-esteem and your hope, dog. Like it makes you just feel so bad. But see, getting to my point here, because I digress. Getting to my point here, this is why people in the public space like Ironmouse are so important. Why they're so essential to people like me and other people who are struggling in the same sense. Because they show you that no, you're not useless and you don't deserve to be lonely. You don't waste space. You're not a burden and you're just as wonderful as everyone else is, right? They show you success is still possible. And you can still find your independence and still find yourself despite everything you have gone through, right? And that's why I wanted to go and just share my support in any way I can, right? I think that's so important. Just me visiting this cafe, I thought was a very important thing to do. And that's why I also share my own story with my own illness and share all these things that used to make me so uncomfortable, and I would just hide, and I'd be so ashamed of saying, and I thought I'd never say in a million years or share with people all the embarrassing things that happened because of my illness. That's why I share these things now. Because hearing Mouse's story and seeing all the good she has done, and just by sharing who she is and her own struggles, and doing good for others with those struggles, and the identity she's built around that, and the success she has found despite that illness. It makes me so happy. And there needs to be more people like that in the world. There really, really does. And I want to do everything I can with my own platform, just to be able to do a little bit of that. And to let people know who struggle in the same ways I do, that you're not alone, and you are more powerful than you realize. You are more powerful. And I put myself out here and I extend myself and I talk about, because I've always said if my YouTube channel and like my online presence ever got bigger than, just 1,000 subs, which it did, I would be more outspoken and I would want to do good in the same way Ironmouse does good. Thank you, Scrimpy. Yeah, I love this community. So yeah, like, Ironmouse showed me anything is possible. Like, she came around the same time I was already taking off, but she further inspired me with confidence, telling me like, hey, this is possible, And people like us, we can still do wonderful things in the world, and we can still see our dreams come true, right? Like, anything is possible. It really is. Especially in this day and age with stuff like VTubing and content creation. And my YouTube channel, I started it way back in 2015 as a way, originally as a way to connect to others and feel less alone, right? Feel less alone and left behind. That was around the time, like right after high school, and I was just so alone. And it led me to finding myself. And my dreams were suddenly coming true, right? Like, it only took a few years, and my dreams were finally coming true, and I was finally connected with people who were my people, and they understood me, and they valued me and cherished me, and they made my life immensely better since they came into my life. Like, my partner, the wonderful people that have come into my life through my community. Like, you have all done so much for me. I am forever in debt to you for, like, making my dreams come true and making me, like, so happy. Happier than I ever thought I could be after getting my diagnosis or after getting sick. VTubing has only made me happier beyond this, beyond YouTube. I feel like I have so much more freedom and independence with this. I feel like I can really express myself no matter what I'm going through. And I've said this 100 million times, but I have really bad social anxiety, and it's only gotten worse with the isolation of being, sick. Like, I used to be somewhat social, and it used to be somewhat easy for me to talk to people. It's only gotten worse with the isolation of my chronic illness. But yeah. I share my story because it's important. It's important to me. It's important to people who look up to Ironmouse, and it's important to people who may be struggling with this. Anyone who's listening or may listen in the future who's dealing with this. Like, I want you to know your dreams can still come true, and you are still important. And you gotta find the people who know you're important and see your worth. Because, if they don't, just drop them. Just drop them, man. And, yeah, like, I share my story because it's important. Our stories give hope to people in these situations, in the situation I was in. And I want to use my platform for good, and I want to spread awareness as well as kindness and compassion. My health has luckily improved, with it being like me taking some quality of life choices and me having people in my life who help me take those choices towards bettering my health. Like my partner, he means the world to me. He has helped me immensely. And he's helped me become healthier, and like I've taken it step by step. Good morning, Detective Melon. How are you? But yeah, like I still have many challenges and many rough periods. I have rough days still, like today. And it still sucks, but it's not as bad as it was. And my life is so much better now, thanks to you guys. And I feel like Ironmouse likely shares a similar sentiment, that what her community has done for her, and what content creation and VTubing has done for her. But yeah, I just wanted to share my piece there. Sorry to get a little emotional there, but I don't know, I've always wanted to get that out. I've always wanted to just like say, hey, like I think this is important, and I hope you guys think so too. Let me go through my comments though. You guys are so sweet, thank you so much.